Okay, guys. So today's video, I'm going to talk about the top 10 deadlifts of all time. Thank you to my subscriber, one of my subscribers, for giving me this idea. Gosh, I forget his name, but I'll give him credit. He came up with the idea of top 10 deadlifts of all time, strongman and powerlifting. So we're going to get right into it here with my number one, which is, in fact, Thor Bjornsson's 1104 501 kg pull. This is my number one all time. This is the number one highest official deadlift. So there has been more lifted, which we'll get to, but this is the number one official deadlift and the highest conventional deadlift ever. Now, he was in a suit. I should factor that in. But I still think this is the most impressive lift, especially the ease in which he hit this. So let's look at it. So this was with straps. This was with a belt. This was with a suit. You can see him there pulling on the suit over his traps. And he really trained hard for this. But this, to me, is still the pinnacle achievement as far as the strongest deadlift and most impressive deadlift of all time. This was done, I think, 2 years ago during the whole, pandemic and all that. But this was crazy. This is what I think is the Mount Rushmore. This is the top deadlift of all time. So you can see here just the intensity, how much went into this. Gets back on his heels and then just finishes the lockout. And the crazy thing about this is I would say he had another, maybe 5 kilos in the tank. So that was not a true max, and it was a pretty clean lift by all accounts. So that one I'm going to go with as the number one deadlift of all time. Number two, what would that be? We're going to go with the Eddie Hall 1102 500 kilo deadlift. Eddie Hall at the time smashed the all-time world record deadlift, which was, I want to say, like 1,040, something like that, by Brian Shaw, and he just annihilated it. He was the first man to deadlift 500 kilos and kind of reset the barrier as far as what everyone thought was possible. So he deserves a lot of credit here. You could almost make the argument that this would be the number one lift because he was the first man to break the barrier of 500 kilos, which is harder to do. It's harder to be the first guy to do it and pave the way as opposed to other people after that. But this lift was at the time thought to be the impossible lift. Now, his lockout was tougher than Thor's, but he's holding it at the top, fully locked out, and he just put everything he had into this. So, again, you could make the argument this should be number one because it's tougher to be the first guy to do it, which is a very real argument. You can see how the toll it took on him. Number three, I'm going with the 1,003-pound deadlift by Andy Bolton. And, let's get into this. Let's take a look at it. And people are going to say, why is this number three? Well, this is number three. I guess it was 1,008. I thought it was 1,003, but it might have been 1,008. I personally put this here, even though it's not on all calibrated plates. So you have a lot of calibrated plates here, as you can see. And then there's some 100-pound plates. So we don't know if it's entirely accurate, but it's got to be pretty close. And this is with a suit. But impressive things here. No straps. First man to deadlift 1,000 pounds, period. Which, again, when we're talking about that from the standpoint of he paved the way, first person to deadlift 1,000 pounds, no one had come close at the time. So suit or no suit, that's very impressive. That catapults him to number three. Because it's just the first guy to ever pull 1,000, and he did it barehanded. I don't know if he fully got his hips through at the lockout, but he held it so long at the top. Like, this is just an outstanding lift. That would be my number three. First man to deadlift 1,000. Absolutely insane. And the grip to hold that, guys, especially mixed grip, is insanely impressive. Like, you don't know how difficult that would be to hold with a mixed grip. Just unreal. Number four, I'm going to give some credit here to Krzysztof Wierzbicki. 1107, 502.5 kg, and this is a sumo deadlift. So this is the highest deadlift period all time, and he did it raw with no suit or anything. He did have straps on, but to me, this is one of those lifts where it's like I don't think it's quite on the as impressive as conventional, even with it without the suit. But it's a clean lift, and it's the most anyone's ever done. He even gets his shoulders back here. So one of my biggest complaints with Krzysztof in the past is he never looks like he fully extends his shoulders back and locks out. But I will say on this lift, he got his shoulders back and did lock out. So this one I'm putting at number 4. The strongest deadlift, or the highest deadlift ever. Pretty freaking impressive. So you can watch it again here. Just clean lift. I think this has to be up there because it was a clean lift and pretty freaking impressive. So yeah, awesome stuff. Number 5, we're going to go with Benni Magnusson's 1015 460 kg deadlift. Now, this was a lift where there was a lot of questions surrounding it as far as if the plates were actually what they say they were. These are not calibrated plates. There was a lot of controversy going into this whether or not this was actually 1,015 pounds because Benni never came back and hit anywhere close to this. And he definitely didn't on calibrated plates. So you can see the ease in which this shot up, and his grip strength was on another level. But this one gets marked down simply because we really don't know if it is what what they said it was. Sean Catterley put on these meets, and there was a lot of controversy about whether or not this actually was 1,015. Like, this could have been as low as 960. Like, it's really kind of hard to say. He still smoked it, but he never even came close to hitting anywhere near this again. So there is a lot of controversy surrounding this, albeit the lift was insanely impressive as far as the bar speed, grip, and all that. So that one's, it's definitely up there, but that's why it gets knocked down. Number 6, a lot of people would say this should be higher. This is Konstantin Konstantinovs, the 939 beltless deadlift. I think it's the highest beltless conventional deadlift ever. I think it's up there. Maybe someone's done more. I can't recall because I'm sure I've overlooked some people on this list. But 939 beltless conventional. And again, these are not quite calibrated plates to the degree we're used to seeing, but freaking impressive lift, full lockout. Now, you could make the argument he could have held it at the top longer, but conventional is so much more taxing on the low back that to hit this beltless is insanely impressive. And Konstantin was obviously a legend, one of the best legends of period of all time. He's probably number 1 as far as who people think of with deadlift, along with like Eddie Hall and Thor, and just crazy strength. So that's just a different degree. He's showing that there's no suit here, and he had a pretty good physique. So rest in peace to KK, absolute legend. Number 6 we're going to go with on the list. I don't know if anyone will do something like that again. Number 7, Dan Grigsby, 1,025. This was pretty recent. This is the highest deadlift in a powerlifting meet. So I believe in a full power meet, this is the highest deadlift. No straps, 948 opener, smoked it. Went to 1,003, 455 kg on the second. Also hit this one fairly easy. And this one has to be up there too. Even I know some people are not as big on sumo, but this is in a competition. All right, this wasn't full power, I should have said. This was, I can't remember if this was full power deadlift only, but it's still, I think it's the highest deadlift in competition in powerlifting with no straps, that is. So you're going to see it here, 1,025. Can't recall if this was deadlift only or full power, but it's the highest one in a powerlifting meet without the straps. It's very impressive. So this one has to be up there as well. Now we have to note this was on a kabuki deadlift bar, which does make it easier. There is more bend, but really impressive. I would have liked to see him get his shoulders back a little more, but I would consider that one of the best. Number 8, this one could also be higher. Lamar Gant, 623 pounds. And you're going to say 623, that's nowhere close to the other guys. Why is this impressive? Well, folks, he weighed 123. So 634 it says actually. So yeah, I should have said 634. Or did he miss that one? I can't even tell. The footage is so raw. But I believe he got 623 or 634 at 123, which is the highest pound for pound deadlift of all time. So just going off that, like highest pound for pound deadlift of all time, Lamar Gant. I don't know if it was 623 or 634, but regardless, at 123, that is absolutely insane, especially conventional. Because I've seen a lot of lighter guys pull crazy numbers sumo, but seeing this conventional just takes it to a whole nother level as far as how crazy this is. And this was obviously some time ago. So that one definitely has to be up there. We're going to go with number 8 on that one. Number 9, I'm going to go with a more recent one, Chris Weist, 942. To break Konstantin Konstantinovs' record which this is, I think, one of the highest, if not the highest, conventional deadlift in the last like 10, 12 years. And his grip was solid. So obviously Konstantin's was more impressive. It was beltless, but this weight pulled conventional without straps hadn't been done in some time. So I would give this one the nod of approval at number 9 as far as a more recent deadlift, which very impressive. Anytime you break a record by KK, albeit with a belt, whereas KK's wasn't with a belt, that is insanely impressive. We have to put that one up there as well. Like I said, one of the highest conventional deadlifts in a meet, if not the highest in a meet in the last 10, 12 years, at around 275 pounds. So very impressive stuff. That'll be number 9. Show one more replay of it here. I mean, that's a lot of reds, folks. That's a lot of red plates on the bar. So this one I'm definitely going to put up there as well. Like I said, I'm sure I've forgotten a few and overlooked some people, which, you know, I couldn't get everybody on here, but this is my list. Number 10, Yury Belkin, 981, 445 kg. Yury has just always been such an impressive lifter to me because he's such a technician. He's so proficient in his technique. And here, I mean, look at the quads being almost parallel to the floor as far as the quad angle. That is just perfect form. And 981, beltless, absolutely amazing. Locks his shoulders out fully, extends his head up to get the full extension. Hook grip, very, very impressive lift. That is what I would go with for number 10. So let me know what you guys think. If you agree, disagree, who did I leave off? Because I know I've left some people off, I'm sure. But these are the ones that come to mind for me on my list. So let me know what you think. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and keep supporting the channel. I appreciate you all.